Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hey, it's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. I'm Dr. Pat, and I'm thrilled to be connecting with all of you. And you know what? Sonja Grace is here today. We're going to be talking about Dancing with Raven and Bear, a book of earth medicine and animal magic. But before I do, I want to say hi to Mr. Benny. Hello, Benny.
Hey, Pat. How are you?
You know, I'm okay. But, you know, I got to say, you've heard me talk about the fact that my family on my stepmom's side, they're all from the South. Yes. They're all from the Carolinas, right? Virginia.
Kind of like a blend of there, yes.
Yep. Mom was born in Charlotte. You know what I'm saying, all of that. And our prayers go out to the folks over there because it's hard to imagine the beating that earthland has taken. It really has. If you've lived there, if you visited there like I have, you know the place. It's unrecognizable right now if you're watching the channel. And we just want to just send our prayers and just some absolutely fast healing of Mother Nature, earth medicine for everything there and all the people there. But I got to tell you, the Weather Channel, the weather people, they got it right this time.
Oh my God! Have you seen some of the stuff they're coming up with?
I have. But you know, and you watch this and you learn, right?
Yeah,
as much,
you do.
Right. I mean, anybody that does the weather. I have a friend that does weather. Anybody does the weather, every day somebody is beating them up for not getting it right. And they saw this coming. And what I want to say about it is that the preparation to get people to safety was amazing, but nobody could predict what's happening even today. So a lot of healing, and I know Sonja knows what we're talking about with that. I'm so thrilled, Benny, to have Sonja joining me here today. And I've got in my hands the latest of the latest for her work. And that is Dancing with Raven and Bear, a book of earth medicine and animal magic. And boy, I'll tell you, do we need that now. For those of you may know who Sonja is, amazing mystic, healer, artist, storyteller, both Norwegian and Native American heritage, but she is beyond intuitive. You know, the work that she does is she helps us go on the journey, the healing journey, the transformation journey, the ancestral journey, the fascinating blend of intuition, creativity, and mysticism. Because in the world we're living in today, I'm just saying, you better get a little bit of that. Sonja, great to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be back on your show again. I'm real excited.
I'm telling you, I know we're going to talk about the book, but we gotta get down with this right now.
Okay.
I do not know any other way that we can begin to heal in this country. Let's just stay in this country for a minute. In this country, if we don't go to what you're presenting, the regular healing, the woundedness that has happened in the past 2 to 3 years is, in my opinion, unprecedented. And boy, we better get some animal medicine here.
Well, and not only that, it's that we're carrying emotional wounds from past lives, from all of our lifetimes, which is what karma is. It's unresolved emotional wounds. So I tell people now that we're in this higher vibration, this fifth dimension, we have to go inside. It's an inside job. We can no longer go outside of ourselves and try to figure it out. We have to do the work on the inner. And it's critical. We're at a critical time.
You know, let's just talk a little bit about untruth or myths or misconceptions. I did an interview not too long ago, Sonja, about the Generation Zers, right? There was a research came out about the Zers, right? I guess we're up to Z now. I don't know what they do after Z. But here's what Sedesco ran a study, and here's what they said about these people entering the workplace. What they said is, this is a different group of people. Of course, they're saying that. But the shocking thing about them is when they asked them on the list of things that they wanted, right? Their top list, everybody thought that they'd be saying the money, the promotion. They picked empathy, compassion. Can you imagine a workplace survey and folks asking you, what do you want? And this generation is saying empathy and compassion. What do you think is going on?
We've got star seeds coming in. So let me just backtrack for a minute.
Yeah.
When most of us first incarnated to Earth, it was at the end of Atlantis and Lemuria. And Atlantis and Lemuria fell around 12,500 BC when a giant comet hit the coast of Mexico. That whole Tropic of Cancer was affected. Everything went down. Most of us came through during that time, right before it, and we're under the agreement, okay, I'm going to help evolve this human race. I'm going to be a caretaker of this planet, and I'm going to experience lifetime after lifetime, bringing in more consciousness to this dense physical form that we're in. And so now we're coming to the end of a phase of humanity. And we've got all these children, grandchildren being born that are starseeds like we were. And so there's this whole other vibe that's coming in that's, you know, fresh from the galaxy and beyond that has the intention of continuing. You know, it's like we're passing the baton and they're going to continue on. So some of these young people and these people that you're talking about, I feel are very new to the planet, maybe only have a couple of lifetimes, and they are truly in that place. We need more compassion and more empathy. Absolutely.
And, you know, one of the things I want to jump to here is to talk about dancing with Raven and Bear. And certainly for me, it's been an interesting journey about my own let's just call it earth medicine, animal magic, as you talk about in the book. But I think that for a long time, we misunderstood the energy of Raven and the energy of Bear. I think Raven is one of the most misunderstood creatures we have. Of course, everything on the dark side, there's always a raven in the picture.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this from your perspective and the absolute importance of understanding this magic.
Well, okay, so I grew up, you know, playing in the woods. I grew up on a farm, and I could see not only the spirit realm, but I could see all the devas of the trees and the plant spirits. And I communicated with, you know, a lot of things. There was a lot going on when I was just a little kid, and I was born this way. So, you know, my mom, who was always trying to figure out, like, what is she really seeing here? She had me draw. She was an artist herself. My dad was an artist. And so I was constantly with pen and paper in hand, and I drew ravens and I drew bears and I drew castles and I drew rocks and all kinds of things that made impressions on me from my world. And I feel that Raven has always been a communicator. I have always leaned towards the interpretation of Raven according to Norse mythology, which is Odin has Hugin and Munin on both shoulders, and they are his eyes and ears to what's going on in the 9 realms. So I always tended to look at ravens more from that angle. and my native heritage, certainly portrays Raven more as a trickster, but yet someone who is teaching these really powerful lessons. And that's what I depict him as in my book. Bear's the medicine man who's going through all these different things, and Raven is his kind of sidekick, trickster, but always there to help Bear.
So this is really, let's put them together, right, for a minute, because, many of us want to really look at ways in our lives to really have this energy, the vibrancy, what the message is today. And yet it requires us to really say yes to a journey. Yes to a journey, even if we don't know, Sonja, what the journey is. And I want to ask you, because we'll talk about the book and we'll talk about the beautiful stories here. What do you find, or what have you found? It calls people to open their heart and open their soul to the journey.
Okay, so every day from 8 o'clock in the morning until about 8 o'clock at night, I am on the phone working with people all over the world. And as a healer, I'm working on hearts and livers and spleens and kidneys. I'm repairing valves in the heart. I'm doing the equivalency of a triple bypass. I'm literally, literally sewing up lesions in the liver. I mean, I'm doing surgery on people. And every day, every person, I am talking to them about the emotional component that created the illness. I'm going into the mental body, the spiritual body, the physical body, and the emotional body. And I find that there's certain resistance that people have when they're attached to things in their past that become the story. And so the story builds and builds. And you remember that time back in 1979 when I was in that car accident. And I mean, that story goes on and on and on, and it becomes the life story of that person. So sometimes in my work, I'm looking for these openings, these ways to really communicate with that person. And I found that going into my native heritage and bringing to life Bear and Raven and having them take the person on a journey, goes in a different way. And people are able to hear the message. And, I write about all these different things that are so pertinent to us, from grounding our energy to releasing pain, power, dealing with power, dreaming, death, having a safe place to go to, love, earth medicine, earth spirit, being a warrior of the earth. I mean, I write about all these things in the stories because I want to help people. It's just another way for me to get in there and help people.
Oh my gosh. And I have to tell you, the book, everybody, is amazing. When we come back, we're going to take a journey. And what is the journey? I'm going to start having a conversation about some of the stories in the book. But also, we're going to talk about this idea of hope. Do we believe people have lost hope? What do we believe in the world? And why is it for women, the use of the word power now is becoming so relevant? Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back, taking your questions as well. 1-800-930-2819. We'll be right back.
Stay juicy. Tune in to Your Juicy Love with me, Una Drake, co-hosting monthly with Dr. Pat, and every second Monday at 12 p.m. on Transformation Talk Radio. My show, Your Juicy Love, helps you find the dynamic, life-affirming love you've always wanted. Transform your relationships and bring peace, joy, and juicy, juicy love to planet Earth. For more information, visit unadrake.com.
Tap into the wisdom of animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso on Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. Tune in monthly as Darcy brings insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and pureness of ancient techniques, Darcy, healer, animal communicator, and medium, is here to guide you through this process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com. Are you ready to shift gears from spiritual seeker to spiritual rock star? Let Nova Whiteman be your aligning force that will help you navigate the ups and downs of this human experience. Tune in to Spiritual Alignment Radio with Nova Whiteman every second Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more, visit novawhiteman.com. That's NOVAWIGHTMAN.com.
Thrive is what we experience when our mind, body, and soul operate as one. When we thrive, we excel on all levels. Thrive is the mindset that matters. It is essential to our being. Have you ever found yourself looking for the instruction manual on how to thrive? You'll find everything you need to help you feel strong, powerful, and peaceful in your own body. So don't waste any more time. Visit thrivebyjen.com today.
Dream on, fly high, and live adventurously on The Laura Meeks Show. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Laura Meeks guides you in finding your unique gifts and bringing them to life. As a certified life coach, speaker, and veteran bomber pilot for the U.S. Air Force, Laura knows how to follow a dream. She is ready to support you so you can dream on, fly high, and live adventurously. For more information on Laura and her work, visit flyhighliving.com.
Have you been searching for a push to step out and share your gifts with the world? Allow Charlene Hess to empower you to start shedding the layers of your ego that are holding you back and begin feeling connected to your heart so that you can shine your unique divine light and share your gifts with the world. Tune in to the Charlene Hess Show, Living on Your Heart's Edge, every third Friday at noon Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information, visit charlenehess.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am thrilled to have Sonja Grace joining me here today in her fabulous new book, which is a collection of amazing stories, illustration. And what they do is they bring to the forefront, you know, this beautiful, beautiful journey that Sonja's been on, her own heritage, Native American, Norwegian. And yet these stories that are in here touch the soul beyond what you might think that the logical, rational mind can tap into. But when you start to read them, you start to get a sense of the relevance in today's world and in the worlds beyond what we can see. You know, the other realms that we know exist and yet sometimes don't quite understand the conundrum of our lives, the past lives we have, why there are certain things today that get to us that wouldn't normally get to us. Sonja, before we continue, how can people get a copy of the book? And how can people find out more about you?
Oh, they can go to my website, excuse me, which is Sonja, Sonja, Grace, GRACE.com. Mm-hmm. And they can order it there through Amazon.
I want to talk a little bit about Raven and Bear. Let's start with that and then go into some of the stories.
Great.
Because there are many people that don't understand much about each of them. You know, for me, my attraction to Raven started when I was 9 years old. And yet at the same time, didn't have a clue about it. But let's talk about what each brings to us in today's world separately, but then together.
Okay. Bear, in my experience and also being a part of my life, I'm married to a bear. You know, I'm adopted on the Hopi reservation and very much a part of Hopi culture and my own native heritage. You know, it's like Bear is the healer. Bear is the one that brings healing. And so my depiction of Bear in Dancing with Raven and Bear is that of a medicine man. But he also has his own journey. I mean, there's one story that he actually is going through something and has to find what that is and has to learn about it. So he's actively, helping people, but also learning in his own journey. And Raven, of course, we talked about this as sort of the trickster, but completely misinterpreted by people and often depicted in a dark manner. And I see Raven as being hungry and talkative and, wanting to be a part of things. I've got ravens living all around me here in Arizona, and I love these birds because they're so inquisitive and smart.
And yet we are very familiar with Raven in our pop culture as well. Yes. I mean, everything from Edgar Allan Poe's fascination with Raven to the world we live in. Almost every pop culture movie we see that has to do with anything about anything that with magic has Raven in it. And yet we know very little about what it means to dance with Raven and Bear. Right.
It's so important to me that what you said earlier, these stories sort of surpass my own cultural influences, and they go into a place. And honestly, just so your readers know, I cannot read this book without crying. And I've never, this is my 5th book. I have never written a book that I read any part of, I just start crying. And I feel that it's such a, all the artwork is my artwork in here. And so each piece, each painting, drawing that I did is about these stories, and very much near and dear to my heart, because when I do a piece of art, I am, completely in a channel space. And it's the same space I work in when I do healing work. It's going into alignment, and I try to live my every moment in alignment with Creator and the earth, with the goddess. So I feel that Bear and Raven are providing sort of this place for people to experience reality in a different way. We tend to be very linear and look at things, okay, that's a table and that's a lamp and there's a wall right there and the sky is blue. But when you're as in touch with the unseen world as I am, things shift and you start to see through the wall. You start to see, oh yeah, there is a spaceship up there and I can see it. Can you, and there's things that you can see and that you can experience that are different than what most people see. So this is my way of bringing people into that opening of reality isn't always what we think it is.
Look, I love this book and I love the stories. And, Sonja, look, I'm a girl from the Bronx. This is so surreal for me that I'm talking with you about a book that's called Dancing with Raven and Bear, a book of earth, medicine, and animal magic. And I actually know what you're talking about. My life has taken such an interesting turn. My own mentor, a woman who took people out into the California desert right up to her death on Vision Quest, introducing me to this medicine. The stories are powerful, and you're right about this. You're right about Brian. I want to ask you about the timing of this book, because your timing of this book is unbelievable. How is it that it's been called forth in you to produce this now? Because we need hope. We have, I'm going to cry. We have become so hopeless. I know. And so distraught over everything that's going on. And people are really dialed into what is the collective karma right now. And that's being irritated and being resistant and angry and fighting for different kinds of freedoms, which we've done for lifetimes.
And this hope that we need is to recognize this too shall pass, and we will transition, but we've got to get really serious about doing the inner work, about really making relations with our inner child and knowing what she or he needs and what they feel, so that we can parent that child from within us, and so that we can be in a state of inner peace, because we're no longer reacting to everything. We're sitting in the center, observing what's going on, and reaffirming to that inner child, it's okay, this is going to pass, and we will get to a place that is more stable and a little more peaceful.
You know, I've got so much to talk with you about. I'm just kind of like, my God. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I want to share some of the stories, because I had the same experience. And I got to tell you, I'm also had an experience about the book Bear and Raven, and two key female political figures. And honestly, I don't even understand why I have this. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, this is not a show about politics. It is about hope, but it's also about what Sonja has written in here. There is purpose to power. Are we willing to claim ours? Are we willing to look inside and look at past lives? And I'm really talking right now to the women. Are we really willing to claim that which we have forgotten we actually even had? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Huff, angelic walk-in angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now 831-277-3716 or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Interested in deepening your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit www.esotericstudies.net.
Don't miss out on an opportunity to hear from Lou Paradise, health and vibrant living expert and founder of Topricin. Lou is a featured speaker at the New You Life Conference in Connecticut, Saturday, September 15th. Tickets are available now. For information and tickets, click the button on the homepage of louparadise.com. That's louparadise.com.
The Knowledge Book, currently studied in 39 countries and 15 languages around the world, accelerates our evolution, takes us out of depression, offers universal truth, protects us, and makes us stronger, both spiritually and physically. So if you are interested in the Knowledge Book, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net and tune in to the Knowledge Book Radio with Marge Potasic on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
To find answers to life's questions, you need to look within yourself. Dr. Glenna Rice brings your questionable conversations on Transformation Talk Radio each month. Tune in each month for insight into how you can live up to your full potential. Dr. Glenna is a physical therapist, certified Access Consciousness, and Access Body Class Facilitator. How does it get any better than this? For more information on Dr. Glenna Rice and her work, visit glennarice.com.
Wow. I don't know how we're not going to cry throughout this show. So.
I know.
I mean, I'm just like, okay, what I want to do is, for those of you out there, this is for all of us. I want to invite all of you. If you have something that's on your mind, if there's something that you want to find out a little healing energy from today, please share it with us. 1-800-930-2819. And look, Dancing with Raven and Bear, this is a beautifully written book of stories. And right now, storytelling is what people are looking for. They're looking for the stories. Why would we be looking for the stories? Do you think perhaps back in our previous lives, do you think maybe we're trying to connect with those parts of us that are so powerful and drowned out by the latest Twitter feed or by someone telling you you're not enough? Sonja, thank you so much for writing this book. Let's talk about the book and how it's made up, because I want folks to know that this is not just a book that shouts at you. This is an invitation to engage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And you know, I think about where I sit in my life having, you know, miracles, and I literally experience miracles every day with healing on the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual levels. And I am constantly humbled because I know, and you mentioned this earlier, having gone on Humblecha Vision Quest several times and sitting on the hill for 4 days without food or water and praying for my life, that shifts something in you. And it shifted me big time to where I no longer would really think about how something is going to benefit me, but rather, how am I contributing? And we're in a society right now where, you know, we're so inundated with, we have to be good enough, and we have to look this way, and we have to succeed in these ways, and we have to be this, that, and the other. And it's complex and it's overwhelming. And my heart goes out to all those young women who are struggling, you know, trying to find their place in society, because it's gotten harder and harder based on all of the criteria that we have to meet. And this book takes you out of that and takes you into the core of who you are. It takes you into the essence of who each one of us are as souls inhabiting human form.
One of the things I love about this is that you're using language in this book that I love. Let's talk about some of the stories if we can.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I work with, I don't know. So it's been so long since we talked. I mean, I think it was like back in the day when the Dr. Pat show was on maybe a few hours a week. And, you know, in 2009, I was called to start an entire network called Transformation Network. We have 10 channels. And I get to talk to the most incredible people and help them launch their shows. I am struck by how many of these amazing people, most of them are women right now, are using the word power. Hence, number 5 in your book, power. I want to ask you about power and the relationship of power to past lives and to the story you share in the book. I hope we can talk about this story for a minute, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And let me just give a brief synopsis of the story. Yes. Bear, you know, overhears Raven. Raven is, you know, irate that humans are walking through the forest and causing damage. And Raven decides to call upon a very powerful element to basically stop that from happening. And Bear, who really comes forth with compassion throughout the book, says, oh my God, Raven, you have no idea what you're doing. And, you know, this is so awful. And Raven is sort of depicting how many of us can take a stand for something and say, oh, they're ruining our environment, you know, let's get them. You know, it's like we get so passionate about various topics in our lives, and we take these stands So Bear ends up going to this place that's inside this tree that is underground, and he has to speak his language to open the door. It's very magical, and he goes down underneath the ground, and there's all the elements, and these goddesses, these women represent these elements, fire and water, and he begs them, the wind. He talks to the wind. Please do not, stop this. We have humans that we love and that we are that share the forest with us and respect us. And so in this process, Bear learns why Raven is so irate and so angry. And at the end of the story, Bear actually learns that when he was a cub, his parents were killed because of the negligence of humans and a fire that was started. Mm. And it was Raven who picked him up and carried him out of the forest. And Bear never knew that. So he went back to Raven with this whole different understanding of why Raven would take such a dramatic stand. And I think that this is such a good message for all of us, because we're all so passionate about which side we're standing on or what hill we believe in. And if we take the time to look at all sides of the story, we might understand better, and we might go about obtaining power in a different way.
Mm-hmm. And all of the stories in the book are beautiful like that. And I was really struck by them. And I want to get back to something I asked you before, Sonja, and that was about this book and the messages for the time we live in today. And I know we talked about hope, but I think there's something else in here. I think there is the acknowledgement, as you talk about, of emotional wounding, right?
Right.
And we should talk about that, but we don't really look at some of the earth medicine for the soul, the earth medicine to heal. Can we talk about that for a minute? Because, look, it doesn't matter where you live in the world or what you're doing. Isn't this available for us all?
Well, certainly. I mean, the more that we connect with the earth, the more that we connect with her energy, actually, the more energy we will have, the more that we can release energy into her and receive her energy up through our bodies, the more grounded we are, the more present we are, and certainly the more healing we will receive. So I feel that earth medicine is there for all of us. And, in my meditation retreats that I teach all over the world, that's a big part of what I teach, is how to ground your energy, how to receive energy from the earth, how to work with the elements, because these are things that are naturally gifts to us, and that we are here as caretakers of this planet. If people ask me, what's my purpose? My goodness, first and foremost, all of our purpose is to be caretakers of this planet.
Yeah. I want to ask you, do you have a favorite story in the book? I know that's a tough question. I'd love to know what that is. You want to share it?
Yeah, I do. And I just wondered if I could maybe read the first paragraph of it.
Yes, please.
Yeah. This is chapter 10, A Safe Place. Bear could feel the earth's heartbeat as he sang songs about the land, the four-legged, winged ones, and the stars in the sky. Each song was blessed with his love and dedication for the earth. One day, Bear saw a shooting star cross the sky and fall down to earth. He wondered if his song called the star from the sky. He thought he better go check it out and see what had fallen to the planet. Bear traveled far and wide, singing, drumming the whole way. Finally, he reached the place where the star touched the earth. The moon shone bright and encouraged him to look closer. There in the middle of the crater sat a girl. She was singing a song that Bear knew. He said, "Excuse me, how do you know that song?" She looked up at Bear and smiled. She said, "I have known this song since before the beginning of time. This song came from the earth. I have visited this planet many times since you were born, and have heard you singing her songs and drumming them into the universe. So I know I'd love to read the whole thing, but it's such a rich story because it has so much to do with us all finding a safe place and understanding that the magic of this universe is so like beyond our understanding. It's so beyond our understanding, and that these things, these elements, you know, demigods and star beings, you know, these elements that come through and help us are, you know, they're not just myths and fables. I mean, people wrote about these things and talked about these things since the beginning of time because it's what they are experiencing. Yeah.
The world right now, I mean, we talk about love and we talk about healing, and yet we're reading stories and research. I mean, certainly for my area of research that I do and continue to look at, we're looking at the fact that right now in the world, if you can believe it, Sonja, the amount of prescriptions for anti-anxiety has now surpassed the number of prescription for pain medication, anti-anxiety. And yet, this is not to diminish what that's like. I know what that's like. I mean, I had a mom that committed suicide, so I understand that. Yeah. I want to ask you, how can the earth medicine, how can the stories in this book, how can they open up a portal for us to step forward and ask ourselves, what is it within us that must be healed today? Maybe that's not even the right question. I don't know.
Well, I think that this book, Dancing with Raven and Bear, gives people an opening to seeing reality from a different place. You know, in one story, the woman is talking to a bear and the bear actually shapeshifts into a man. You know, in another story, a bear and his wife, I call her Mama Bear, they actually sleep under a blanket that is infused with magic, and they turn into humans, but they don't like being human. They want their bear form back. And so it's sort of opening people's minds to the reality isn't always what we think it is. It's not, we're perceiving, we are not using the full capacity of what our eyes can see. And we certainly are lessening that by getting on our phones and texting and internet and all the stuff that we use to distract ourselves. So I feel that this book can provide a different look at reality. I actually give my grounding meditation in that first chapter, and I really encourage people, you know, I've got a download, an MP3 download you can buy on my website with my grounding meditation. But get this and learn this, because when we understand that our energy is actually meant to fuse with the Earth's energy, and we stop sending our energy out from our body and connecting with other people's energy, which is what the process is when we start to create more karma, then we start to understand, oh, okay, I can still be sensitive and feel what's going on, but my energy, especially from my belly, is grounded into the earth. I'm not being invasive and looking at someone with that second chakra energy. I'm grounding it, and now I actually have more perception. So I think it teaches people a lot.
Oh, it does. And, you know, folks listening probably don't know that we are talking about this beautiful way you weave the parallels, if I could call it that, between Norse mythology and Native American traditions. And, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking right now, we got a whole introduction into the Norse mythology, totally in our pop culture, right?
Yeah.
Through Thor. Right? I mean, that's not a mistake that Thor would become one of the most beloved, right? Of the characters. Right?
Yes.
And then we're getting a whole other version of Native American traditions in our pop culture through other elements that come to us through screen. Hence, Westworld, an entire segment of Natives Americans, natives talking in the show in their native language. I mean, this is really not much. We don't see this a lot in our pop culture. And yet, here we are, you and I are talking about it. What is it about looking at the parallels of these cultures?
Well, I remember, coming home to the reservation and telling my mom and dad on the reservation that I could not believe the parallels between even landscape, where I went to visit in Norway, and the Hopi reservation. I mean, it was like mind blowing. And I'm constantly, showing these two sides of, these are such similar stories, and obviously the influence from the demigods. And in my other book, my last book, Spirit Traveler, I talk about this. When we went through that ending of Atlantis and Lemuria, and this new phase of humanity began, these huge portals opened up all over the world. And it was like the earth signaling to the universe, okay, we're ready for a new phase of humanity. And that's when all the demigods came through. The Norse gods, the Hopi gods, the Tibetan gods, the Mayan gods, the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, all these different demigods or star beings. And they're much more benevolent, much more magnificent and closer to the angelic realm. They're high beings. They came through and created all these different cultures, cross-pollinated with the people, and had the influence of them on the people, which is why, there's all this stuff in art that shows us these demigods. And these are the ones that really have influenced, when I talk about Norse mythology and, Hopi mythology. I mean, there's a real connection because these are higher beings.
As we look at this, the word that comes up, of course, is, for me, transformation. I mean, we had an interesting thing going on here, Sonja. We are 3 months away from finishing 2 years worth of building technology that will build a community of positive mojo makers, people that are in the world sharing messages. We're about 3 months away. We're going to do some crowdfunding to finish it off quickly. And in the process, we have been looking at, do we change our name? Do we change our name? And it's fascinating when you ask other people. And so someone come back to us and said, why are you even thinking of changing? If you're going to change it to Total Transformation Radio. And I thought, wow. So let me ask you this question, because your book is filled with the energy of this. Are we ready? Are we ready for the change? Are we ready to transform? Are we ready to shift energy? Are we ready?
Yes, and yes, in that I'm a firm believer that the person, the being that has the last word on all of it is the earth. We live on her back. Does she give us signals? Absolutely. Are people feeling a migratory kind of vibe? Yes, they are. Are people moving? Yes, they are. A lot of people are moving. And when we were living back in the day where we were tribal, we were migratory all the time, and we were so much closer to the earth. We knew when it was time to leave. We got up, we packed up the whole village, and we moved. Wow. Now we have mortgages, we have jobs. We go, oh, I really feel like moving, but I can't. I'm hemmed in. I can't get out of this. And you know what? The earth gives us signals, and then she has an earthquake or she blows a volcano. She gives us signals, and we either take heed and go, okay, she's transforming too. She's got to adjust. Maybe she's been lying on her side for a while. Now she's going to move, and she's going to stretch her arms. And we have a big earthquake. we can't get upset about this stuff because we're living on her and we are dependent upon her. And there is no other planet that's going to save us. We can't trash this one and move on to another planet. That's just not going to happen. So we have to become very, very aware and get back into that rhythm of hearing the Earth's heartbeat and hearing her song so that we can live accordingly to her.
Mm. Wow. Sonja, oh my gosh. I love what you've put together in the book. That's number one. But most importantly, I love how powerful and beautiful the message is and the importance of dancing with Raven and Bear. So I want to thank you so much for that. Again, how can people get a copy of your book? How can they find out more about you? And then last question, I'd really love to hear your call to action for the world.
Thank you. Well, they can find me at Sonja, Sonja, Grace, GRACE.com. Of course, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, Mystic Healer Sonja Grace. So they can find me all over the place. But my message to everyone is we are in a very, very transformative time. Our electromagnetic field around this planet is weakening. So we have cosmic energy, cosmic rays, solar flares affecting us even more than ever. And it is truly our time to go within and to do the work, do the inner work, find out what those emotional wounds are and get some healing going so that you're not repeating the patterns and the cycles that you've been repeating since childhood. And I think that it's important for us to have hope. And when we feel hopeless, to remember that if you've actually reached that state of hopelessness, you're at the bottom. The only way you can go now is up. And it's time to go up and go back to your journey of being a beautiful being that's inhabiting a human body. And you're having this human experience. And remember that what you bring is unique and special to you. And only you have that gift that you bring forth to the world. And that, yes, we're all one, but we are all one within our emotional palette. We share the same emotions. We all love, we all feel jealous, we all feel anxiety, we all feel the same feelings. But what each person brings is unique and beautiful and needed on this planet.
Mm.
Boom.
I love it. It's amazing. And boy, let's get to dancing out there. Let's do some dancing with Raven and Bear. Thank you so much, Sonja.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This is a fabulous book, by the way. I love the stories in here. And I love these stories, especially if you're listening to the show. Share this with family and family members. This is incredible. Thank you all. Thank you, Sonja.
Thank you.
Hey, Benny, thank you. And thanks to all of you out there. We've got another hour coming right up here on Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show. We'll be right back.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.